Good night, World's live in America. It's 11 o'clock. I get my check in like an hour, right? So I'll make this video and I'll get my check at midnight. I'll get a pack of smokes, right? We get food, Ivan. No, I'll just get like a pack of smokes, maybe a drink. Cost me like $17, right? When I get my $600. I get my check like in 50 minutes. Yeah. All you American players playing in CFL, I was a bit harsh. Yeah, you went a bit too far. Yeah, I went a bit too far. My bad. I went a bit too far, obviously. Yeah. I guarantee you all the American fans, man, you went a bit too far on the CFL. Yeah, I know I did. But I couldn't help it, man. The CFL's been doing this for like 70 years. They just lock all the doors on all the Canadian players. They just bring up all these American guys. Yeah. Are you shocked the CFL's not that popular? Yes, I am, because the American players the CFL brings up here, they put on a show on television, honestly, almost as good as the NFL, right? Yet no one in Canada cares that much about the games. The CFL is peaking at about, like 650,000 people. I was wrong. I checked on Google. CFL averages, like 400,000 to like 650,000 people watching a game. So it grew a little bit. Before it was peaking at like 500K, so the television ratings went up a little bit. But CFL should be peaking at about 1 million viewers a game. If the CFL really wants to get more money from TSN, they have to average like their million viewers watching. They're trying to get to that million viewers watching, obviously. I could be wrong. Maybe the American talent is the way to go. Maybe the Canadian players just not. I think they're more than good enough. Maybe the Canadian players just not good enough. Quality product for people for the CFL to sell to the Canadians. That's why they bring up all the American guys. But it's a very weird way of going to league with players who are not your draft pick CFL. They're just players from a different country who you just put on negotiation lists. You just bring them up here. They're not your draft picks. Ugh, it's very weird. Yeah. They're not your draft pick CFL, right? Yeah. Yeah, it is very real. Yeah, like all the pro leagues, all the star players on every team are all draft picks. CFL's the only league that's not like that. Like the star players in the league are not draft picks. They're just players from a different country the CFL puts in the negotiations they bring up here. They're players undrafted from a different country who happen to be the stars up here, instead of the CFL's own draft picks, Canadian draft picks, obviously. CFL closes the doors on their best Canadian players, obviously. Yeah. They don't like the Canadian. Yeah, we don't like the Canadian players. They're our own talent, but we don't like those guys either. And they don't deserve to shine up here. They're not good enough. We're not going to let these Canadian players shine up here when they're not as good as the leftover guys in the States. Those guys are just shining. But yeah, that's why CFL does that. The guys who did make the NFL deserve to shine up here in the CFL. Obviously, have become legends in Canada, and then they close the doors on the best Canadian players because they're not as good as the leftover talent in the States. That's why they think those guys are to shine up here in Canada. Yeah, Ivan. The undrafted guys who make the NFL deserve to shine in Canada, in the CFL, and be legends up here instead of our best Canadian players who we draft. Obviously, that's what CFL believes. Yeah, Ivan. The American guys is the way to go. They deserve a shot up here. I'm like, no, they don't, CFL. This is not their league. They never want to be here. The Dream's not playing here. The CFLs are Canadian players. It's not for the American players. But you just choose to lock the doors on your best Canadian players that you draft. You just bring up all these undrafted NFL guys or NFL cuts to be your stars, and you lock the door. Yeah, we do that because the Canadian players are not as talented as the American guys, Ivan. I get that, CFL, but they're not your draft picks, man. How do you expect the Canadian football fans to take your league seriously, CFL, when all your legends in your league who killed it up here, their dream was not playing here, man? Every single one of them. So how do you expect the Canadian football fans or the Canadians to take your league seriously and invest in these American guys, CFL? Yeah, they killed it up here, and they're legends, and the fans love and everything, but all the Canadian football fans are not stupid. They know all these American guys are only legends in your league by default. Had they been in the NFL, they never would have been legends in your league. And they know their dream is not playing your CFL. So all your legends in your league are players who never dreamed of playing in your league. They only happen to be legends in your league because they didn't get their NFL shot. So it's a very weird way, CFL, of growing the league. And these are the guys you market to the Canadian people and who you honor as your legends in your league, CFL. That's why it's tough for me to resonate with these American guys. And it's tough for me to take your league seriously, right? It's tough for me to take your league seriously, CFL. All the legends in your league and everything, you know, I respect what they did up here and everything. Their dream was not playing here. Like, no pro league is like that, obviously. And these are the guys the CFL puts on the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. They market them to the Canadian people. They honor them. But, I mean, I know their dream was not playing here, so it's tough for me to take them seriously. Is it weird? All you can hear about, yeah, it's a bit weird, man. We know, yeah, their dream was not playing here, man. The American guys' dream was not playing here. Don't hear him saying, yeah. Dream was not playing here, I think. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. You think the American football players who play up here are happy that they're the stars? Of course they are. They're the ones who are the stars up here. The fans love them, obviously. And the Canadian guys will look, I mean, like, we deserve to be the stars here, man. I'm like, no, you don't, guys, man. This is not your league. This is not your country. You don't deserve to be the stars up here. The best Canadian players deserve to be the stars up here, not you guys. CFL is just blinded by the American talent. That's why they bring you guys up here. Yeah. CFL believes because the leftover American guys are a bit more talented than Canadian guys, they deserve to be the legends up here and shine up here in Canada instead of the best Canadian players. That's why they I get that CFL, they're a bit better than our best Canadian players, CFL, but like, the CFL's not for the American players, it's for the Canadian players. That's why you draft the best players. We know it, Ivan, it's not for the American players, it's for the Canadian players, but they're not good enough. That's why we lock doors on them and we have to bring up all, The NFL's for the Americans, the CFL's for the Canadians, obviously. And the CFL knows that. They're just blinded by them. I'm blind by American talent, man. The Canadians are not good enough. That's why we lock the doors on them. We got to have these guys shine up here. These undrafted guys shine up here. That's why the CFL does that, obviously. And they're amazing players they put on the show, but people kind of obviously don't care that much about these American guys. And I know why, because they're not from here, man. They're American players. They don't know anything about these guys, right? If the NFL did that, the Americans wouldn't care about the Canadian players either, obviously. So you have a similar situation here in Canada. Obviously, the American guys here brings up here, they're not from here, man. And the Canadian football is not stupid. They know these American players, even though they're amazing players, they know their dream was not playing here. They're only playing here by default because they get an NFL shot. That's why they're here. Otherwise, they never would have been in the playing in the CFL. They would have been playing in the NFL, right? Yeah, all the guys who went undrafted or got cut by the NFL, those are the guys who end up here in the CFL. They didn't get their NFL opportunity. That's why they're here. Because they can't play in the NFL because they're not good enough or they get an NFL opportunity. But they have an opportunity to play football up north. That's why they're here. They're here by default. They get an NFL shot. Obviously. That's why they're here. Otherwise, they never would have been here, obviously. And those are the guys that the CFL markets as the people can. They pray that the league grows, I mean. No one in Canada hate about these guys, so you can market them CFL. They don't hate about these guys, but they're not from here, man. They're American. No. They're not your draft picks, man. You see Milt Stegall, Matt Dunn, they talk about all these star receivers, quarterbacks. They talk about all these quarterbacks and everything. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool and everything, but people can't know anything about these guys, CFL. They're not your draft picks, man. They're just guys you bring up here from America, from a different country, who are talented, but I mean, obviously the fans don't really care about the fact how talented they are. They don't really care about these guys that much. Because they're not from here, man. Like, duh, it's common sense, man. NFL marketed all these Canadian guys. The fans wouldn't care about the Canadian guys either, because they don't know anything about these Canadian guys, right? You have a similar situation here. Duh. Yeah. Yeah. All you American players playing in CFL, I understand. I was a bit harsh on you guys, and I was harsh on the league. I get that. Yeah, I mean, like, you went a bit too far. You're a fucking dick, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you're exposing the league we're working in, Ivan. And like, you hurt us, you crushed us. Yeah, I get it, guys. I might have hurt you a little bit. I might have crushed you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because I went a bit too far, obviously. But I'm sorry, guys, man. The CFL deserves to be exposed because they've been doing this. If the NFL did this for 70 years, guys, you'd be pretty frustrated too, man. The CFL's been doing this for 7 years. They lock all the doors on the best Canadian players who are drafted, and they only a few get to start, right? Leo Lyman, right? They just bring up all these players from different countries and how they be the stars. Like, how's that fair, man? Like, this is the CFL's not for the American football players; it's for the Canadian football players. But the CFL obviously believes the undrafted guys from the NFL deserve to be the stars up here over their own best Canadian draft picks, obviously, because they're a bit better than the best Canadian. Yeah, even a bit better. They deserve to shine up here. I'm like, no, they don't. CFL. This league is not for them. It's the NFL's for the American guys. CFL's for the Canadian guys. And they know that. That's why they draft the best players. But because they're not satisfied with the quality of talent, yeah, we're not satisfied with the quality of talent. Our Canadian players not good enough, Ivan. We got to bring up all these guys from the States having these stars. That's why the CFL does it, obviously. And the American players brag about being the star. Yeah, we're the fucking stars up here, Ivan. And the Canadian players they're all sitting on the bench. Yeah, those are locked on the Canadian players. Yeah, Ivan, it's locked on Canadian players. It's us American players. We're better than Canadian guys, Ivan. Yes, you are, guys, but this is not your league, man. Your league is the NFL. CFL's for the Canadian players, and you know it. You're only here because of the CFL's bias towards the American talent. That's why you're here. Obviously, this is not your league. Had you guys been in the NFL, you never would have been playing the CFL. That's how you know this is not your league. You're only playing here, guys, because you didn't get your NFL opportunity. That's why you're playing here, man. Otherwise, you never would have played here, right? Yeah. Do you think the Canadian football players are on your side? Of course they are. I'm the voice. Yeah, Ivan, even though you went a bit too far in the CFL, like, you're the voice, man. Like, thanks for signing up for us Canadian players. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Yeah, man, it's not fair, man. We get drafted into the league, and like, we're all bust picks, we're not stars. Yeah, guys, the CFL doesn't think you guys are good enough, man. That's why they lock the doors on you guys. They don't think you're good enough quality product to sell to the people of Canada, obviously. Yeah, Ivan, they're not good enough for the ticket holders who are paying for the tickets. The Canadian players are not good enough for television. That's why we got to bring up all these Americans. They're not good enough. That's why CFL's been doing this for like 70 years. They just bring up all these American guys, the States. They lock the doors on the Canadian draft picks, obviously. Best players in Canada, obviously. I mean, that's cool, I know. Yeah, why? We don't lock the doors on all of them. Yeah, like 7 Canadian players get to start, but most of your star players in each of your teams CFL are the linemen CFL. The lineman is a non-skill position. The linemen are the majority of the Canadian star players in the CFL. I mean, that's funny. I know the linemen, right? Most teams start like 4 or 5 Canadian linemen. And they'll start maybe 1 Canadian receiver and 1 Canadian free safety, and that's it. And the rest of the players are all the American guys, obviously. So that works, right? Yeah. Yeah. But I could be wrong, man. Maybe the reason why the CFL's been doing it is because maybe the Canadian players are just not They're just not good enough quality for the people who can. That's why CFL, yeah, I mean, that's we had no choice but to do this, Ivan. The Canadian players are just not good enough. That's why we have to bring up the American guys, Ivan. Yeah. Well, all the university games, most of the university games at university football sell out. That's good. That's good enough for the university football fans. What makes you think it's not good enough for the rest of Canada? And when I saw the CIS games, that was good enough for me. Not like the Americans, but still entertaining enough football for me. When I saw some of the university football games, entertaining enough quality for me. Obviously. Yeah, as a Canadian, and those aren't the best players in Canada. So it's like, yeah. Yeah. So see, yeah, the CFL is the only league that's weird like this. Like the way they grow the league is very weird. Honestly, they draft the best Canadian players, but they just bring up all these guys from the states, and they have to be the stars that are over their own draft picks. Like, no pro league does that. It's very weird, obviously, all because they don't think the Canadian players are good. Yeah, they're not good enough. That's why they do that. And all their legends in the league are players who never dreamed of playing in the CFL. So, like, for me personally, it's very weird, and I can't. That's why I can't take the league that seriously. It's tough for me to resonate with the American players, obviously. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's a bit weird. Yeah, man, it's weird, man. They honor this CFL legend. Yeah, it's amazing. They killed it up here, but like, I know that CFL Legends dream was not playing here, man. That Legends only here by default. Otherwise, they never would have been Legends here. And their dream was not playing in the CFL when they grew up as kids. Their dream was playing in the NFL. They only happened to be Legends here because they didn't get an opportunity. They're here by default. That's why they're Legends here. But even though they're Legends here, their dream was playing in the NFL. It wasn't playing here. So it's like when you think about it, it's very weird, obviously. Yeah, I haven't asked her. Well, CFL doesn't care. I mean, yeah, we don't care if like never been playing here. When they grew to love the league, they stayed up here, and they, yeah, I get that they stayed here and they love the league, but CFL, these American guys you bring up here, their dreams not playing here, man. Their dreams playing in the NFL. It's not playing in the CFL. They don't care, obviously, the CFL. Yeah, it's a weird way of running the league. CFL. It's very weird, man. Like the legends in your league never dreamed of playing here when they were kids. They only happened to be in your league because they didn't get on with you. That's why they're in your league. Otherwise, there never would have been any legends in your league. So it's a very weird way of running the league. Oh man. All you Canadian Royal fans, yeah, I mean, it's weird, man. All these American guys who are inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, their dream was not playing here, man. It was playing in the NFL, wasn't playing here. That's why the Canadian football fans don't really care about the American guys that much. They love the legends who killed up here, but they don't really care about them that much, right? Compared to the way they care about the Canadian guys, obviously, because they know their dream was not playing here. The dream was playing in the NFL. It's not playing in the CFL. Not stupid, the Canadian football fans, right? So it's a very irregular. And these are the people that see from markets to the fans, right? Like on TV when they honor them and everything. And that's why it's like, it's tough for me to resonate with these American guys and to take the league seriously, obviously. So all these legends that they honor, they never dreamed of playing here, right? Their dream was playing in the NFL, wasn't playing here. Like when they were kids growing up, their dream was, I want to be in the NFL, I want to be a legend in the NFL. They never thought about the CFL. They're only in the CFL because they get an opportunity. That's why they're in the CFL. They happen to be legends in the CFL, but their dream was not playing in the CFL. And the legends in the CFL, it's weird, man. All the Canadian football fans, yeah, it's a bit weird. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's very weird to me personally. It's weird. Oh, that's funny, I know. Yeah. Oh, the CFL doesn't care because they're blind. Yeah, we don't care if it's a weird way of growing a league, man. These guys are talented, man. We gotta have these guys come up and be the stars. I mean, yeah, they're blind by American talent. They're fucking crazy people, man. Blinded by it. Yeah, we're blinded by it, man. We don't care, Ivan. You have to become legends in our league and everyone wants to play here. They stayed up here. They love the league. The fans love them. Yes, I get that CFL, but these are the people who you're marketing to the Canadian people on TV. Obviously, you honor these American players who killed up here. Obviously, and these legends who you're honoring never dreamed of playing in the league that they're legends in. So, like, no pro league is like this. Like, every legend in every pro league dreams of playing in that league, but the CFL is not like that. All the legends in the CFL, because they're all the American guys, obviously, are legends who never dreamed of playing in the CFL. They never dreamed of playing there. Their dream was not playing there. It was playing in the NFL. So it's like, it's weird, man. It's a very, very weird growing league. All right, that's weird. That's funny, I know. Very, very weird growing league, man. You're right. If the American football players in the CFL dream is not playing the CFL, how come some of them stay? Well, some of them stay because they grow to love the league and they're making a lot of money, obviously, when they become stars. They know their chances of starting the NFL is not high, and they have to think about their families. They have families to feed. You know what I'm saying? Finally, history minds, yeah, like, I'm killing it up here. I'm making more enough money up here. I have a family to feed. The fans love me up here. A lot of them just choose to stay up here because they know their chances of starting the NFL are not high. Obviously, it's not high starting the NFL. Obviously, that's why a lot of the American players choose to stay in the CFL. They end up killing them up here. But even though they choose to stay up here, even then their dream is not playing here. Like, had they been in the NFL, they never would have been in the CFL, man. Their dream's not playing the CFL, all these American guys. They're only in the CFL because they didn't get an NFL opportunity. They're undrafted or they got cut by the NFL. Those are the two reasons why they're here, obviously, the American guys. Either got cut by the NFL or they were undrafted. They didn't get an NFL opportunity. That's why they're here, obviously. Otherwise, they never would have been in the CFL, obviously. Yeah. Listen, Sarah, I'm tired. My last video. And after this, I'm going to go to the store and get my pack of smokes. I got paid midnight tonight, right? Like, in like 30 minutes, I got paid like $600. I'll get a pack of smokes and I'll get maybe a drink at the store. I'll enjoy showing you guys. And tomorrow I'll get my 6 beers and my smokes. And I'll get to save money. I'll get slices at Bob's tomorrow to save money, right? Yeah. I have to give the $60 to my stepfather because he keeps annoying me about the $60, right? Yeah. But there must be a real good reason why the CFL does this. Yeah, Ivan, there's a reason. Some Canadian football fans, Ivan, you're wrong, man. The reason why the CFL does this, man, the Canadian players are not good enough, Ivan. That's why the CFL is doing this, Ivan. They're doing this to protect their league. Obviously, the Canadian players are not good enough, Ivan. That's why they do this. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a good reason why the CFL. Yeah, there's a reason why the CFL does this, Ivan. The Canadian players are not good enough, Ivan. They're a bit raw. They're not good enough. That's why the CFL does this. If you get rid of the American talent, the league revenue will dip and this thing could flop, Ivan. I beg to differ. I think the revenue will go up, but I mean, yeah, it could flop, obviously, because the quality will dip, obviously. Yeah, Ivan, the Canadian players are just not good enough, Ivan. That's why we do this, man. There's a reason why we do this, Ivan. Yeah, the Canadian players are not good enough. That's why CFL does it, obviously. But when I watched the University Championship game, Laval versus McMaster, that was good enough quality football for me. And those are not even the best players in Canada. 2 players per team. I was entertained by the Laval versus McMaster game. That was good enough for me. Yeah, the Canadian players a little bit raw, but it was still good enough quality football for me. It's not like the Americans, but it's still good enough quality for me. So I don't get it. It was good for me, but the CFL somehow thinks it's just I mean, it's good quality, but the Canadian players are a bit raw. It's not like the American guys. I mean, we want it more like the NFL. That's why we got to bring up all these American guys to have the quality be almost like the NFL. Obviously, that's why the CFL brings up the American guys to increase the entertainment value of the brand, obviously. But the brand you're selling to the people of Canada CFL is unfamiliar product that people in Canada know nothing about. They're from a different country, CFL. No one knows anything about these American guys you bring them up here. They don't know anything about these guys, right? Yeah. What's the real thing that builds buzz with the Canadian talent? The quarterbacks. Obviously. Like, once you have a bunch of Canadian players, now the stars, and the CFL doesn't have to talk about all the Canadian star players, and these players got drafted in the CFL, they play at this Canadian university, more people they're more known talent. Yeah, I recognize this guy from this university. This player played at my university. They're more known, obviously. You have to market them well, obviously. Yeah. So see, yeah, the CFL knows the Canadian players are more known talent, but the quality of the brand, the quality of the brand we're selling with the Canadian talent is not good enough. That's why they bring up all the American guys who are unknown talent, but their quality, the quality of the brand is better than the Canadians. That's why they're better quality brand to sell to the people of Canada instead of selling the Canadian product. So yeah, the Canadian product is not good quality enough either. Brand to sell to people in Canada. They're not good enough either. That's why we have to bring up the American. They're not. CFL things are not good enough, obviously. Well, they do that, right? I mean, that's cool. I know. Yeah. But Nathan Rook is the hope, though. He's the hope. Nathan Rook. Yeah, such an amazing quarterback. He's the best quarterback in the league, right? Nathan Rook, right? He won that league MVP. He's arguably the best quarterback in the league. He's better than like all these American guys. Nathan Rook. He's amazing. I mean, he won that league MVP last year, and he won 2 awards: most outstanding Canadian and league MVP. Nathan Rook won, right? Yeah. Yeah. But the thing about Nathan Rook, man, if his performance dips, he's done. They're gonna replace him with an American guy. He won't get another opportunity again. That's the thing about the Canadian players. They have limited opportunities. Even if they're star players, if their performance dips, the coaches are gonna replace them with an American guy, and then they're gonna lock the doors on them. They get like no opportunity to be a star again. Because the CFL coaches don't trust the Canadians the way they trust the American guys, obviously. They have bias, obviously, right? Yeah. Why do the American football players in Canada know about the bias? Of course they do. They're not stupid. Of course they know about the bias. Yeah, like all the star players in the league are all some American guys. There's barely any Canadian guys who were stars. Except for the alignment, right? There's barely any Canadian guys who were stars up here. All these Canadian guys who are drafted in the league are not stars. We're the stars up here. We're not even draft picks. Yeah, the American guys playing in the CFL are not draft picks, man. They're just guys that people brings up here from America. They put on a negotiation list. They bring them up here. They're not draft picks. The Canadian players are the draft picks, obviously. They're all drafted into the league, but the CFL locks the doors on them, obviously. They only play special teams and limited reps, but they're not stars, obviously, right? The Canadian players, yeah, quite a bit of Canadian players are on special teams. They play special teams, but they're not stars. They'll play special teams, but the stars are all the American guys. That's how it works, right? The Canadian guys are not the stars. There's barely any Canadian. A few receivers, a lineman, and like a couple free safeties, and that's it in the league, and that's it, man. All the other stars are the American guys. That's how it works. Because the CFL closes the doors on the Canadian guys. They're not. Yeah, Ivan. They're not. They're not. They don't. The CFL obviously believes that the undrafted American guys deserve to shine in Canada over their own Canadian draft picks because they're a bit better. Yeah, they're a bit better. They put on more show. They deserve to shine up here, Ivan. Yeah, and you've been marketing these guys to the Canadian people for decades, and your league's not growing that much. So obviously something's not right, right? I mean, yeah. Just because they're better CFO doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way to grow your league. Just because they're better product on the field, the undrafted NFL guys, the undrafted American guys from the NFL, doesn't mean it's the best way to grow the league. Sometimes the best way to grow the league is by marketing your what? Brand from your own country. That's the better way to grow the league. Just because the American players are more talented in CFL, the undrafted American players in the States are more talented, doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way to grow your league. But because we're blind by the talent, the Canadians are not good enough, the American way is the way to go, Ivan. Yeah, but CFL, man, they're not from here, man. They're from America. And this is not their league. They're American players, CFL. They never dreamed of playing here. Don't forget that, right? Their dream's not playing in CFL right now. Yeah. It's not playing here. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you think the American talent isn't the way to go? Because the CFL is a Canadian football brand. Obviously, it's not an American football brand, it's a Canadian football brand. And their television games are aired in Canada to the Canadians. So it's common sense. The best way to grow the league is obviously with the Canadian draft picks, not with these American guys from a different country who are undrafted in the NFL. The best way to grow the league is obviously with the Canadian draft picks who are Canadian, who are more known to people in Canada, and who are more relatable to people in Canada. The CFL knows that, but because Ivan, the reason why we lock the doors like Canadians, Ivan, they're not good enough, man. Like, it's not good enough quality for television for the season ticket holders. It's not good enough. That's why we bring up the American guys, Ivan. They're not good enough, Ivan. Yeah, that's what they would tell me, honestly. They're not good enough, Ivan. Because they downgrade your own talent. Yeah, it's not good enough, Ivan. That's why we have to bring up the American guys. They're a bit more raw. The Canadians, where they play, they're not good enough, Ivan. That's why they close the doors on the best Canadian players in Canada. The drafters, right? And they bring up the undrafted American football players or the NFL cuts. Those are the guys they bring up here, and they have to be the stars up here, and they lock the doors on the best Canadian players who are the draft picks. I mean, that's cold, I know. Yeah. Do the American players care that the league locks doors on Canadian players? No, they don't care. Everyone's looking out for their own career. They don't care, man. American players don't care about the Canadian players. Yeah, we don't care about the Canadian players. We deserve to shine up here, Ivan. We're better than Canadian players. Yeah, guys, you may be better than the Canadian players, but this is not your league, man. This is not your country. You guys are American. The NFL's for you. The CFL's for us Canadian players. There's a reason why you guys are not draft picks in the CFL, because this is not your league, man. The CFL's for the Canadian players. They're the ones who are drafted into the CFL, not you guys. Your league is the NFL. Obviously, because you didn't get your NFL shot, that's why you guys are here. The CFL grabs you guys and they lock the doors on us Canadian, on the Canadian draft picks, obviously. But the American guys in the CFL don't care about the Canadian draft picks. They don't. Yeah, we don't care about the Canadian guys, Ivan. We deserve to shine up here, and we're better than the Canadian players. And what we're looking at, we have careers, we have families. We don't care about the Canadian players. I don't care about the Canadian players. The American guys, CFL brings up here. We don't care about the Canadian players. I guarantee the Canadian football players, they envy the American players up here, because they're the stars up here, man. Whereas the doors are all locked on all the Canadian draft picks. A few of them are stars in the league, obviously, like a couple of receivers and the old linemen, all those guys, and a couple from safeties, but most of the star players are the American guys. The doors are all locked on the Canadian draft picks. I mean, that's cold. That's serious. Yeah, it's serious shit, man. Very serious shit going on in my country, man. It's the only pro league that has this issue, obviously, the CFL. It's very weird. The bias has been passed down for decades, and it's never going to go away. Yeah, we'll never get rid of the American talent, Ivan. Canadians are not good enough, Ivan. That's why we bring up the American guys. That's why they do that, CFL. How do you start? Yeah. Why? What if the league grows? If the league grows to like 500 million in 20 years, and I'll take everything back I said, I'll apologize, I was wrong. The American talent is the way to go. But something tells me I'm right. Something tells me the American talent's not the way to go. The Canadian talent's the way to go. Or I could be wrong and the Canadian talent could flop hard. Because the quality, yeah, Ivan, like, that's a bad idea, man. The quality will dip, the league will flop, Ivan. They'll dip in revenue, man. The quality will dip, Ivan. Canadian players are not talented enough to put on good quality football like the Americans, Ivan. That's why the CFL does that, obviously. Yeah. Ivan, is the CFL draft popular? No, it's not. It's not that popular, man. They aired on TSM, but not many fans tune in. Maybe 50,000, 80,000 fans in Canada tune into the draft. It's not popular, man. It's not that popular. I know why it's not that popular, because the CFL doesn't market it well. And the Canadian football fans aren't stupid. They know the draft's a crapshoot, man. They know all these draft picks are all bust picks, man. Only like 0.3% are going to be stars, and 99.96% of them are bust picks. They're all bust picks, man. Because the league closes the doors on the Canadian draft picks, and they bring up the American guys and have them be the stars over here, obviously. In our fucking country, in Canada, right? It's sad, man. You think there are some Canadian football fans who are sick of it? Yeah, obviously. Oh, yeah, I'm on your side, man. I'm sick of it, man. Like, even though I love the American players, man, for decades it's just been, it's all about the American guys CFL brings up here. They get the spotlight up here, and in the Canadian draft picks, they just close the doors on them. They don't shine, because the CFL's blinded by the American talent. We don't like the Canadian guys, Ivan. The American guys are just shine up here. Because they want to be like the NFL of Canada, right? That's why they do that. God, we don't like the Canadian players. We draft the best players in Canada, but we're gonna lock those in in. They're not good enough. They're not talented enough. We don't like the Canadian players. The American way is the way to go. Obviously, that's why they bring all the leftover guys up here and have them be stars. Obviously, and they're amazing players, and they put on the show. CFL, they really do almost as good as the NFL, and yet people in Canada still don't care that much. So obviously, something's not right. Yeah. But 600,000 people watching is pretty good. CFL, I think, did 600. It's not bad. But CFL should be doing at least a million, million, 2 million, 3 people watching a game if they want to get more money from TSN, honestly. Yeah. So 600K is obviously not good. The CFL is trying. Yeah, we're trying to get that million plus people average, Ivan. And if they can get to that million, million two people watching, TSN will pay the CFL more money. They might pay them maybe 70 million a season, 65 million a season, a bit more. Because right now they're only paying the CFL. They're paying the CFL less right now, right? But the players can get the raises, obviously. Yeah. I could be wrong, guys. Maybe the Canadian talent doesn't make a difference, right? You market all the 9 Canadian quarterbacks. You market all the Canadian receivers, linebackers, running backs, and no one in Canada cares either that much. It doesn't make a difference, and the league might even dip in revenue. It might even, yeah, even the revenue could dip. The Canadian players are not good enough. They're a bit more raw in the way they play. They're not like the American guys. That's why CFL locks those on Canadian players, and they give the American guys how much. Yeah, they're not talented enough, man. Not somebody do that. Obviously, and they obviously believe the American guys deserve to shine up here over their best Canadian players because they're a bit better than their best Canadian players. Yeah, they may be a bit better than their best Canadian players, CFL, but this is not their league. They're not from it. They're not even draft picks, CFL. That's why I find it very weird. All your star players, your quarterbacks, and your receivers are guys who are not draft picks, or guys you just bring up here from a different country. You put on a negotiation list. You bring them up for a different country. They're not your draft picks, CFL. They're players from different countries who are undrafted in the NFL. Draft, right? They're your stars over your own draft picks. Very weird. Yeah, man. Williamson, yeah. Yeah, man. Almost done here, guys. My check should be coming in any minute now, right? My $600. Yeah. Yeah. You know, you were a bit too harsh. Yes, I know, guys. I was a bit too harsh on CFL. I know. All your football players in the CFL, I was a bit too harsh. I went a bit too far, obviously. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't help it, man. The CFL, what they're doing is cold. Like, they lock the doors on all the Canadian players. They just have the American guys shine, man. From a different country, right? It's very weird. Ivan, man, the reason why we do that, man, the Canadian players we draft, they're just not good enough, Ivan. No, they're good enough. It's just not like the NFL, right? Not NFL quality, obviously. Yeah. That's why CFL, yeah, like the CFL, they know the best Canadian players are amazing players, but when they compare it to the NFL, it's a letdown. Obviously, it's not. It's a significant dip in quality. Yeah, like a 14, even 15% dip in quality when you compare the best American players to the best Canadian players. It's like a 15. Yeah, it's quite a significant dip in quality. They see it as a letdown. They're not satisfied with it. That's why they just choose to bring all the American guys. They've been doing this for decades, like 70 years since the league started. See, even when Warren Moon played in the 70s, they were doing this, man. They kept bringing up all these American guys, lock all those like Canadian guys. They bring up the American guys. They've been doing that, man. That's how you know the CFL is obviously blinded by the American talent. They've been doing it for 70 years. They don't care. Yeah, we don't care about the Canadians either. They're not good enough. The American way is the way to go because they're blind by American talent. We got to bring up all these guys, have these stars for Ivan. Canadians are not good enough. Who we draft in the league are not good enough, Ivan. That's why they do that, obviously. That's why I was so furious and I exposed the CFL because what they're doing is cold. Yeah, but some Canadian football, yeah, I know what they're doing is cold, Ivan, but there's a reason why they do that, Ivan. The Canadian football players are not good enough, Ivan. That's why they lock the doors and the quality will dip, Ivan. It's not good enough quality football. That's why they bring up the American guys. Some Canadian football might tell me that, obviously. Yeah, it's not good enough, Ivan. That's why the CFL does that. Yeah. So yeah, the CFL believes the Canadian depth of talent is not good enough quality football for people of Canada, obviously. Yeah, the depth of talent is not good enough. Yeah, it's not good enough, Ivan. That's why they bring up the American guys. But all you American football players. Oh, wait a second. All you American football players playing in the CFL, even though I'm a dick, you gotta admit, man, my videos are funny. Yeah, that was funny, man. I was laughing my ass off. I know it's funny, I'm saying. Yeah, man. Your CFL videos are fucking funny, I know. Even when I watched it, I was dying of laughter, man. I couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny. Yeah, you're funny. You put in the show. Yeah, I know. I love the show. Yeah, I know. Yeah, your CFL videos are hilarious. I know they're hilarious, obviously, right? Yeah, I was funny. I know it's funny. So, yeah. 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 That's why it's tough for you to take league seriously. Yeah, because like I've watched many CFL games, and a lot of CFL games they honor the CFL legend. I remember when, they honor the CFL legends. Obviously, they ride on the thing and they have the jersey at the stadium, and the fans are cheering the CFL legend on. Yeah, it's cool. I respect that person, what they did up here and everything. But it's tough for me to take league seriously because I know that CFL legend is only a legend in CFL by default. Had he been in the NFL, he never would have been a legend in CFL. I know that CFL legend's dream was not playing here. Matt Dunnigan, Anthony Gavillo, Doug Flutie, even though they're legends in the CFL, I know their dream was not playing here. They're only legends in this league by default. Otherwise, they never would have been legends here. And their dream's not playing here. Their dream was playing in the NFL. They're only here because they get an NFL shot. Obviously, so it's tough for me to resonate with these American guys because they're legends in the league. They never dreamed of playing when they were kids. They only happen to be legends in the CFL because they didn't get their NFL shot. They're legends in the CFL by default because they didn't get their NFL opportunity. Otherwise, they never would have been legends here. And when they were kids, their dream was obviously not playing in being a legend in the CFL. Their dream was being a legend in the NFL, but they happened to be a legend in the CFL in a league they never dreamed of playing in. So it's weird, obviously. But CFL doesn't care. All right, we don't care, man. Even though their dream was not playing here, they stayed up here. The fans will be, yeah, I get that CFL, but it's a bit weird, man. Like, all your legends never dreamed of playing in the CFL when they were kids. So it's a very weird way of going to the league, and I find it weird, obviously, for me personally. I don't know how you guys feel. It's very, it's a bit weird. Yeah, it's weird, man. Fucking weird. Well, CFL doesn't care. We don't care, man. They stayed up here. They grew to love the league. Yeah, they did CFL, but their dream was not playing here when they were kids, man. And these are the people who you market to the Canadian football fans in Canada as your legends. And these Canadian football fans are not stupid. They know these American guys' dream was not playing here. It's playing in the NFL. It's not playing here. Yeah, it's playing in the NFL. They're only legends here by default. Otherwise, they never would have been legends here, right? Yeah. I hope the league grows. I could be wrong. Maybe the American talent is the way to go. And all you American players playing the CFL, I know I was a dick. Yeah, Ivan, you're a dick. You're a fucking asshole. I know. I took it a bit too far. I'm a dick. I'm an asshole. I'm wearing a mask. I know I took it a bit too far. But you gotta admit, man, my videos were funny, right? Yeah, Ivan, I died laughing. Yeah, that was funny. I know my videos are funny. My videos are funny. I'm saying, anyways, guys, this is Right Guys' show. Sorry, man, I'm saying out. Peace out, guys. Who guys on the CFL Show? Peace out, guys.